Shortly after releasing my video trying to build my own LTT magnetic cable management tools for less than they would cost to buy, the team from LTT reached out and offered to send me some merch. Apparently some of their product team had seen and liked my video. If you haven't seen that video, I used my 3D printers to make my own version of the LTT arches, power board holder, cable tie mounts, and power brick holders. I was trying to make them for less than the LTT ones cost, but it turns out they weren't as cheap as I thought they would be to replicate, which might be why I don't have a jet. The LTT team were nice enough to send out their ABCs of gaming for my little one, their precision screwdriver kit, which is a handy tool for me to have around, one of these fidget spinners, and their new flexible cable management arches. What I don't think they realized though is that I'd take this little gift as a challenge. These new arches are actually a really nice little evolution of their existing arches and a good addition to the cable management system. They're made of flexible rubber material between two magnets instead of the stiff plastic in their regular arches. What's interesting though is that the magnets are contained in a hard plastic section that's then inside a flexible part. To accomplish this, they're using a process called overmolding. Overmolding is a two-part injection molding process for the mixing of materials in molded parts. Basically, the inside part is injection molded first, and then that part is put in another mold and a second material is injected around the first part. Overmolding as a manufacturing process is used all over the place these days. A really common example is the grippy parts of a drill or power tool handle. In this case, the red part of the drill is molded first, and then the black is overmolded. To be clear, that's a pretty massive oversimplification. There's all sorts of things like mold insert, shrinkage rates, and things to think about. It's not quite that simple, but you get the idea about how it works. Obviously, having replicated the rest of the MCM range for 3D printing and released all the files free so you can make your own, I had to do the same for this new flexible arch. We can do our own overmolding with a 3D printer. Kind of. You might remember we used a flexible filament called TPU to help us make the non-slip feet on the previous cable arches. We used 95A TPU for that project. It's flexible, but still quite stiff, nowhere near as soft as the flexible LTT arches. The 95A in this case just refers to the shore hardness of the material. Shore hardness is split into three scales for plastics: 00, A, and B. Each scale ranges from 0 to 100. 00 are the softest, think gummy bear soft. A is somewhere in the middle, erasers or car tires, and D is the hardest, all the way up to things like bowling balls. The scales also overlap, which is a little bit confusing. Sure 100 00 is very similar to like 70 or 80A, for example. So instead of the relatively stiff 95A, we're going to go with 85A for this project. 85A is way softer feeling and should make a great flexible section for our stock pot flexible cable management arches. Now, the obvious method for making a multi-material part on a 3D printer, if you're at all part of the 3D printing world, is to use a tool changer or a filament switching system of some kind. But I want these to be printable on any printer, even the simplest, so you guys can make them too. So we're going to use a couple of cool printing tricks to make it possible to do our own overmolding. Like with our other cable arches, we're also going to make this model entirely parametric, so you can download it and tweak the model to suit your magnets and your use case. But before I show you how to rip off yet another LTT product with a 3D printer, today's video is sponsored by Odoo. If you're running a side project, a small business, or honestly just trying to keep your life organized, you've probably ended up with 5 different apps all doing parts of the same job. Odoo is designed to fix that. It's an all-in-one business management platform with invoicing, accounting, project tracking, even your website all in one place, all talking to each other. No more juggling tabs. The project management side of Odoo lets you map out tasks, assign them to your team, set deadlines, and see what's done and what isn't. And because everything lives in the same platform, you can pull in resources from your other Odoo apps directly. No copy pasting, no switching between tools, no share links, and no wondering if you're looking at the latest version. There's different views to help you navigate, like Kanban for better workflow, Gantt charts for a bird's eye view, or a list to do batch changes. Within each task, you can send email, log notes, schedule activities, and see the past conversations and work all in one place. And if your needs change down the track, Odoo grows with you. You can add more tools as you need them. The first app is free for life for unlimited users, and if you want the full suite, it starts from about $20 a month. You'll find a link down in the video description. Thanks a lot to Odoo for sponsoring this video. Once your dimensions are in and your model is generated, you can export the whole thing from Fusion, which is free by the way, so you can give it a crack even if it's just for these. In your export, there will be 3 bodies: the magnet mounts and the strap. Print your magnet mounts first out of whatever stiff material you'd like. I've used ASA, PETG, and PLA without any problems so far, but your mileage may vary. Styrene-based plastics like ASA and ABS will actually kind of bond with hot TPU, so if you're planning on using these in some extreme applications, I'd suggest using that. Once they're printed out, take them off the bed and grab and load your TPU into the printer. I'm throwing my roll of TPU into one of these new Prusa USS dry boxes to keep it dry while I print. These are an awesome solution for keeping filament dry, and I'm really looking forward to getting my hands on some more for storage of particularly hygroscopic filaments. I printed this little silica gel box that Prusa has made available to suit it, and that'll keep our TPU ready to print and dry. They do include a packet type silica gel bag, but I already use these loose beads for my printing, so I thought I'd just stick with what I know. They've got a little hygrometer in the box so you can check on exactly how much moisture is inside, and the whole box goes right on the side of the printer ready to go, with the new spool holder allowing you to lock it in place. There's also a printable little bayonet so that you can seal the joint between the box tube and your printer's PTFE tube and keep air out entirely. Quick disclosure, Prusa does support the channel by supplying printers, filament, and accessories like this dry box, but I like these so much I've ordered a dozen of them myself out of my own pocket so I can store some of my filament a bit easier. Well done, Prusa. Now that we have our magnet mounts made out of a hard material we can screw or glue our magnets into easily, we can work on the flexible part of our flexible cable arches. This is where we need to play around in Prusa Slicer just a little. To do our pseudo-overmolding process, we need to load up the third strap body from the model that you exported from Fusion and slice it to suit our filament with no supports. Then we need to add a pause command in our G-code. I'll show you why in just a little bit. In Prusa Slicer, to add a pause command, you can just pull this slider down through the layers, find the point where we see the first layer of this overhang, right-click on the slider and click Add Pause. The pause will be added at the start of the currently selected layer. You can pop a little message in this box here that'll be shown on the printer's screen when the pause happens, reslice your model to add that new pause to your G-code and hit print. When the print pauses, we take our stiff plastic magnet holder prints from earlier, install them in the half-finished flexible part, and then we resume. And the printer will continue from where it left off, this time with our stiff plastic magnet mount sealed inside the outer flexible component. Overmolding. Kind of. Once the print's done, we have one part with 2 materials, just like LTT's flexible arches. The overhang that prints over the top of our magnet mount will keep the magnet mount in place, and when we fit it, the magnet too. So the 2 components can't really come apart. Technically, depending on your material choice, you may be able to flex them enough to free the mount, but in normal use, they should stay in place. Now we can just install our magnets the same way we did in our old cable arches and put it all to work. Just like the previous arches, it works just as well as the LTT version with the added benefit of being easily customizable. By just tweaking some parameters in Fusion and printing out a new one, you can make these as long or as short as you'd like and adapt them to almost any magnet size. And like the other arches I made, you can add a soft TPU non-slip foot to the arch itself, but this time it's printed along with the rest of your strap. To do this, you need to print a slightly different version of the flexible section and add a second pause just before the printer starts bridging over the magnet cavity. Install your magnet on the second pause and then hit resume, and the printer will bridge over the top, leaving you with soft material between your magnet and the surface. This does reduce the strength of the magnets quite substantially, so keep that in mind, and you can't really reuse the magnets as easily. You'll have to sort of cut them out. Now the cost comparison. Like the last video with these really expensive magnets I bought locally, it's about the same cost to build your own one of these as it would be to buy them from LTT. But again, they would be way cheaper if you bought magnets in bulk or from AliExpress or similar. My experience tells me that AliExpress magnets are sort of hit or miss, but you do what you prefer. Good neodymium magnets are really expensive. Not private jet expensive, but still expensive. Like I said, the big advantage of printing them yourself is that you can choose exactly the size that suits you, or even try a few until you land on the size that works for you. As always, the models are free to download over on Printables, so go check them out. And let me know how you go printing your own. And thanks LTT for the gear and the challenge, even if you didn't know you were issuing it. If you like this video, leave it a like. If not, let me know why. Thanks a lot for watching. I'll catch you next time.